It was the late 1950s in Torrance. The city was basking in its recent All-America City Award for unprecedented growth following World War II. It was the atomic age and the era of early space travel. The architecture and design of the day reflected a theme of man's utopian future. Examples of this include the Seattle Space Needle, the restaurant tower at LAX, and here in Torrance, the since-demolished Parasol restaurant located at Crenshaw and PCH. Today, some consider it to be an embarrassing blip in America's design past. But there's a growing movement to preserve this style of Jetsons meets the Flintstones industrial design. The style is known as Googie, pioneered by John Lautner, who designed this LA coffee shop in 1949.
Googie architecture was architecture started in the 50s and ran into the early 60s. It was really named for a restaurant in downtown Los Angeles, Googie's, and when a architectural critic drove past there, he saw that and named all that style of architecture.
Googie has also been called Populux, Doo-Wop, Coffee Shop Modern, Jet Age, Space Age, and Chinese Modern. Its elements include upswept roofs, large domes, boomerang shapes, atomic models, starbursts, flying saucers, and exposed steel beams. While many of the city's Googie architectural features are now gone, a large piece of this movement is still very visible right here on Crenshaw Boulevard. The original 1958 sign, Palos Verdes Bowl, is a classic Googie design.
Probably way oversized for the sign that you would really need, so it goes beyond that to be eye-catching. And so there's a huge space needle up there. Some will say it's a sail for reference to the South Bay. And then if you look at the very top of that, once again, the atomic symbology up there. You gotta remember what we were going through in the early 50s. You know, is this a big disaster of the future, or is it in fact something that's going to be the wonder of the future?
The Googie theme was carried through in subtle ways in the bowling alley itself.
You could say it's maybe an ode to Googie architecture.
Man's continuing link with nature was often expressed using rock walls to break down the barriers between inside and outside. Exposed steel beams with geometric cutout holes resemble rocket gantries and serve form over function. While most of PV Bowl's regulars are probably blissfully unaware of the architectural significance of the building and its sign, the large ship sail doesn't go unnoticed by Torrance in-flight visitors.
We're very close to the Torrance airport, and so this is either in the taking off pattern or in the landing pattern, but they use the ball. It's supposed to look like a bowling ball on top of the sign, and they use that as a point of reference.
But the sign hasn't always been as popular among those on the ground.
It's probably the tallest sign in the city, and probably one of the most unusual signs in the city. Actually, they were trying to get me to remove it probably 20 years ago, and I just said it's really us, and it's just part of our heritage. And so they finally agreed to let me keep it.
Whether Googie is viewed as an historic treasure or an eyesore, architects such as Dean Ruder call it a style that helps us reflect on where we've been and what might be in store for our future.
That's an interesting juxtaposition. It was an attempt to be modern, and somehow the modern went past that already. I think we should save a little bit of the architecture. At this point, we've lost so many historical buildings, not just the South Bay, but throughout Los Angeles, that now we're saving old buildings and not historical buildings because we've lost that chance. It's a shame that we lost the Parasol here, just so, for generations, we've got a little touch of that past.
But for now, bowlers and Torrance residents can still appreciate this blast from our 50s and 60s past. Colleen Farrell with the Centennial History Minute.